Good morning. My name is Reverend Sue Bryan, and I'm the Associate Minister at Unity of Dayton, and I am just thrilled to welcome you to our service this morning. We broadcast live through Facebook Live and YouTube, and for our local congregants who choose to come and join us in the parking lot, we are on FM 105.3. So if you'd like to join us that way next time, we'd love to have you with us. Unity was founded in prayer. Charles and Myrtle Fillmore were the co-founders, and prayer is an integral part of our spiritual community. So let us begin now with a moment of prayer. Loving God, we are so grateful. We are so grateful to know that you are here with us, and we're so grateful for the opportunity to gather together. We're grateful to know about your presence in our lives. And I would like now to share the invocation prayer of Charles Fillmore, reminding us, I am now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I acknowledge thy presence and power, O blessed Spirit. In thy divine wisdom, now erase my mortal limitations, and from thy pure substance of love, bring into manifestation my world, according to thy perfect law. And we say thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you. Amen. As we always do, we will start this service with an affirmation. This is a beautiful affirmation. It's 2 sentences long, and it goes like this. I welcome love, and I am filled with joy. I am reminded that love is all that I am, that love is all there is. So I'm going to break it down because it's a little bit long. I welcome love, and I am filled with joy. Would you join me in saying that sentence? I welcome love, and I am filled with joy. I am reminded that love is all there is, and that love is all that I am. I'm sorry, I turned that around. Let me do it again. I am reminded that love is all that I am, and love is all there is. Will you join me in praying that part of the affirmation? I am reminded that love is all that I am, and love is all there is. It's a beautiful affirmation. Well, welcome, visitors. I know some of you this may be the very first time that you've tuned in to our live broadcast, and that you've joined us for the first time. We are a New Thought community. We have spiritual teachings from almost every path, but our founders were very, very deep believers in the life and teachings of Jesus Christ, and that is our foundation. We hope that there will be something in today's service that resonates with you and that inspires you and that motivates you to deepen your relationship with the divine. Thank you for choosing to spend this hour with us. This week we have a special treat. We have a guest speaker, Rebecca Victor, and let me tell you just a little bit about her. She has been a personal and professional empowerment and spiritual coach and presenter for over 25 years. Rebecca motivates individuals to transform themselves and their lives with greater freedom, self-awareness, and confidence, helping them to combine the power of their heart, mind, and intuition. She teaches them ways to live from the inside out in integrity and joy with their life's purpose and passion. Rebecca also travels the country presenting to audiences looking for new ways to live, ways that are respectful of the whole person. So you'll hear from her a little later. She will guide our meditation, and then she will present a very exciting message. The message title is The Gift of Knowing, Having Faith in the Journey. So hang tight. We're going to be doing that in just a few moments. Right now, I'd like to share with you the message from our daily word. This is the Unity publication that comes out on a every other month basis. And today's daily word is, the message is world peace. The affirmation is peace shared between people spreads throughout the world. I contribute to world peace when I join in spirit with all people who dedicate themselves to expressing divine love, united in the belief that God is within everyone. I affirm the divinity of humankind and honor each person as a unique expression of God. I recognize and release any unkind thoughts or feelings toward any person or group of people. I respect all others and seek to learn more about customs and beliefs that are unfamiliar to me as I grow in a spirit of kinship. I believe a warm, friendly attitude communicates my intentions as effectively as my words. I smile easily and extend myself to others in a spirit of friendship. I remain mindful that as peace flowers between individuals, peace grows in the world. And from Micah chapter 4, verse 3, nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Today's message is about world peace. We will be entering into a time of meditation following a lovely song that will help to center us and allow us to be fully present as Rebecca joins us and leads us in meditation. And now we will hear There Is Only Love by Karen Drucker.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry warp away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love.
Good morning. And for today's meditation, I want to take you along a journey on one of my favorite lines from the Bible, which is a line from Psalm 46, verse 10. And it's simply this: be still and know that I am God. And so you'll take a moment with me. I'm going to move you through a process that I experienced with Franciscan brother Richard Rohr. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know. Be still. Be. Be still. Be still and know. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. And we can now go into our music.
There's a place inside myself only God can feel. Made for God and nothing else, only God can feel. There's no person, place or thing, only God can feel. Move like God to make me sing, only God can feel. Only God can feel. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Only God can feel, only God can feel. There's a way to touch my soul, only God can feel. A place inside where I'm made whole, only God can feel. Anything that comes my way, only God can feel. I give to God and that's okay, only God can feel. Only God can feel. Hallelujah, hallelujah, place inside myself only God can fill. Made for God and no one else, only God can fill. There's no person, place or thing, only God can fill. Moves like God to make me sing, only God can fill. Only God can fill. Only God can fill.
Beautiful. Thank you, Joy and Catherine. Thank you very much. A great lead in. I love music. I think music is such a gift to open up the heart. And I'm glad for that, for this message. And all I can think of when I was thinking about the gift of knowing is questions. Questions, questions, questions. I don't know about you, but my life has been filled with questions. I mean, from the moment I think I took my first breath, it was like, what's this place? Who am I? Who are you? And it just went on from there. I would ask so many questions as a child that I really drove the people who knew me nuts because they couldn't answer all the questions I had. I just turned and there was another question. And it started from, can I go with you, to can I have a cookie? Do I have to go to bed now? Can I stay up and watch Star Trek? Up to growing up, can I go to my friend's house? Hey, can I go to this dance that's happening? And growing through the years from what classes am I going to take? Do I want to go to college or not? Where do I want to live? And who do I want to live with? What do I want to do? Do I want to get married and have kids? That, of course, for me was like a no-brainer. That was something I knew at the age of 8 I wanted to do. And all these questions, and they continued throughout my life. What happens now that, who is it that, with the children grown, who is it that I am today? What do we want to do? What are we going to do when we retire? All the way up until that last breath of, I wonder what's on the other side. Just questions. And I love questions because they're just evidence of curiosity, evidence of what is there to discover in life. I'm here for a reason, and let me have fun discovering what that is. Learning about life through my journey, through my walk, through my passions, which is what I think each of us are doing, each in our own way, living and walking this path of faith, this path where so often we don't know where we're going, what we're doing, and how we're going to get there. I can remember when I was in my mid-20s, I was living in New Jersey and working in New York City, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So many of my friends had clear ideas of the kind of jobs they wanted, and I just flat out didn't have a clue, except like I said, I did know at a very young age, I wanted to get married and have kids. I knew that from the get-go. But what do I do until that happens? I knew that I liked meeting people. I knew I liked international studies. I was involved in that in college, had a blast, was always fascinated with it. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. Couple that with, I really would like to try to live a life that honors my belief, my faith. Where can I go that God would want me to be? I would always ask that question. Where do you want me to be, God? Where can I go that you're going to be? And it's the right place for me. And I would ask it over and over. And there came a point that I was really frustrated. I just was not getting any answers. And I was getting a little ticked off, frankly. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'm just going to go into the city. I'm going to go to the Peace Corps. I'm going to ask questions about the Peace Corps and see if it's something I want to do. Because at this point, I had not a clue. I didn't like secretary work. I was okay in retail. Didn't want that. It's like, God, there's got to be something more. So as I'm getting with the train, I lived out in the middle of New Jersey, and I was catching a train into the city. And as I'm sitting there, in walks this really nice-looking man, gold hair about down to his shoulders, wavy, glasses on. And of all people he sits next to me. And I'm like, okay. And we strike up this conversation. And striking this conversation, this man is talking to me. And as I'm listening to him, I feel like I am listening to me in male form, talking back to me. And I just kept looking at him like, are you for real? Because everything that was coming out of his mouth was as if I was in his body saying it. And I'm like, wow, it was such a level of confirmation in some senses for me of maybe there's somebody out there that's a male that feels this way too. But it was just bizarre. I mean, it was so interesting because it was everything. And it was just validating all the things and the feelings that I had been moving through and the discourse I was having in my mind that was causing me such consternation. Well, when we got into Hoboken, where I had to take the path over into the city, we had to walk down a series of stairs. And so I walked these stairs all the way to the bottom. And lo and behold, he puts money in the turnstile for me. And I go through and he follows me. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? And he's like, well, this is where I stop. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, thanks so much for the ticket. And I was, really appreciated it. And it was just very nice. And the next thing I know, he bent down and he gave me a kiss. And I was so flustered because it was like a peck. I didn't know what to do. I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know you. And here you're doing this. I don't know what this is about. So I took off all of 5 feet to get into the train or into the path. And I sat down in the first seat. Now, as I did that, I thought, Becky, all that was just a peck or so. Why are you so disheveled? And I turned and I looked out the window to see, because he couldn't have gone very far, right? Because it was just like a hop, skip, and a jump into the front seat. And he's all the way up to the top of these 2 flights of stairs walking. And I'm like, who is this person? Because it was bizarre. And I sat back. I remember sitting back. And then all of a sudden, I'm looking out the window. And there's this voice inside that says, that was your guardian angel. And I'm like, okay. So part of me was like, am I making this up? And part of me is like, well, that's really cool. Like, wow, because it made sense when I heard that, because he knew so much about me. Everything that came out of his mouth, as I said, was like I was speaking it. And what it did for me is it gave me a level of confidence that when I actually got into the city, I started walking to the Peace Corps office. And the closer I got to the office, the more I realized I didn't want to do that. I really loved variety, but I didn't want to be so far away from my family. And by the time I got up there, I knew it. I saw the office and I said, what am I doing here? And so I left. And as I got home, I realized all these things had happened, but I still felt no closer to an answer or a resolution. So I was feeling pretty frustrated with God. And I started journaling. And I'll do that a lot. And there are times that I'll journal. I don't know if any of you have this feeling that you're writing and all of a sudden, for some reason, the next thing you know, you're kind of come to again. You haven't been asleep. You stopped writing, but you weren't where your pad and paper were. Well, that was what that feeling was like. And I remember journaling about everything that was going on. And the next thing I know was this voice again that said, because I was frustrated. I kept saying, what direction am I supposed to go in? Where am I going to find you, God? Where do you want me to be? Where is it that's mine to go? And this voice said, it doesn't matter where you walk. The gift is that you find me everywhere you go. You can walk everywhere. Your job is to find me there. And I sat back and I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. I really didn't know what all that meant. I'd come out of a very traditional Christian background. So, okay, I had some sense, but not really. Not until I started to move into new thought communities and explore metaphysics that I gained a different perspective of what that could mean. But on one hand, it was nice, but on the other hand, it's like, well, that's really good, but you still haven't answered my question. So now you're throwing it back on me. Now I have to come up with some answer. So I thought, okay, if I can find it anywhere, then I'm good with that. But I still didn't know. And so I would jump from job to job to job, go about 3 years, get bored out of my gourd, and ready for the next one. And I always thought there was something wrong with that, and I felt frustrated. And in the process, I had an experience where I ended up in therapy and knew that I needed to move through a lot of different emotions that had been coming up that if I didn't would be destructive for me. They would turn inward and not be good. And in the process, I realized that I was really angry with God. And so I sat in my living room and I screamed and I yelled and I screamed and I yelled and I called God every possible cuss word I could think of, and then some. I really wanted God to know how ticked off I was. And after I did, I don't know how long it took. All I know is it was just a deluge for me. That when it was done, I felt completed. And I remember sitting down in the chair, kind of looking around, going, okay, when is this bolt of lightning going to come and strike me down? And instead, there was nothing but quiet, and then this voice that said, good, now you're ready. And I'm thinking, well, that's good, but what am I ready for? Still didn't know. So I just started to trust wherever I was being led. I knew I needed to move from where I was, and so I did. Ended up doing that, ended up meeting my husband, and we ended up having 2 wonderful sons, and I had a blast being a mom. It was awesome. And then still trying to find out, again, what is my purpose? Who am I? What am I doing here? All these questions that kept unfolding in my life, in addition to how we can best rear our children, or how to really honor and love my husband and allow him to do the same to me, and all those questions. That through it all, I kept going back to that line. It doesn't matter where you walk. Your job is to find me everywhere you look. And I'm thinking, everywhere. Now, I don't know about you, but in these times right now, there's such a sense of separation, us against them. You can't be it. I'm it. This is their only one true way. And it causes such a level of separation. It's the antithesis of what that simple line was to me. Find me in everything. Find me, Rebecca, even when you're looking and what you're seeing is anything but the love that you know that I am. You look, and when you see anything but the peace, find me there. And what I realized in that moment, and even today sitting there as I was going over and preparing this time with you, I realized that it was like, I'm at a choice. Do I look to you, or do I look to you, or do I look to the situation to decide for me where the face and the presence of God is? Or am I going to pause and turn within? Am I going to pause and own that this presence exists? And am I going to trust it enough to look for it so that I can find it, open my heart to it, open my being to it? And that was that idea of, it's not about what's out there. It's not about looking for it in the face of another who's upset and angry and frightened and unsure and feeling crazy because they don't know. It's up to me to say, how do I see the presence of the divine right here? Even when everything being demonstrated is anything but. How do I see that? Well, here's where it has to begin. It has to begin first and foremost with my willingness to be okay right where I'm at. When I got really angry with God, it was not good to be angry. I grew up, anger scared many people, and I was an angry kid. And anger frightened people. So I learned it wasn't safe, and I learned that when I was angry, something was wrong with me. When all of a sudden I've learned that honoring my anger, celebrating that I have that, not to turn that anger on another human being and abuse them with it, but for me to pay attention to what it was teaching me, to honor that so I didn't have to be trapped in whatever I was feeling bound by. That I could start right there. I could start at any space, whether I was feeling depressed, angry, thrilled, whatever it is. And right there, honor and love and respect myself right there. Start right where I'm at. I don't have to elevate myself up 4 levels before I know. Boom, right here, right where I'm at, number 1. Number 2, in honoring right where I'm at, I have to honor and offer compassion to me. There's that line in the Bible where Jesus said, love one another as you love yourself, right? So I have to love me. I have to see the beauty in me. I'm grateful that others have. But until I was willing to see it for myself, I couldn't let what their feelings were in because I didn't let myself believe it. So the gift that I had to learn was, how do I love me? How do I offer myself compassion? And that compassion expanded my world. It opened me up to possibilities because it's so freeing, it's expansive. And in that expansion, I became aware, and sometimes aware of ways that I've hurt myself and I've hurt others. And so I have to learn forgiveness, to free myself, to let go of what I no longer needed to hold on to. I didn't need to hold on to self-abuse. I didn't need to continue to beat myself up because I didn't accomplish whatever I thought I needed to accomplish. How do I just forgive? How do I let go of what never got accomplished to allow what has yet to be to come into focus and come into play? There's a line Jesus spoke of, when he was on the cross, right? And they said, forgive them for they know not what they do. And I think how often in the things that I've learned, and I know people out there that I've been in studies with, and how we've discovered things that we're like blown away by what we're learning. And we're like, if we'd only known, we would have seen ourselves differently. There is so much about life that we have no clue of, and yet we judge ourselves thinking that we know it all. When truly what there's out there for us is this love. It's love. And so as we learn to let go, then what we can do is welcome. We can welcome the love. Not only the love that is coming to us, but the love that we are. That love that bubbles up from within us. And so I think when we think about these questions and the journey and who we are and what we're about, and how is it that we want to live our lives, being able to honor the journey that we walk, the good, the bad, the ugly, right? That movie, Good, Bad, and Ugly. Be able to love it. See the presence, the face, the love of God in it all. That to me was the most powerful. And it's in my day today. Went to bed last night. I had my right hip killing me. It was hurting so bad. And I'm like, okay, where's the presence of God here? Where's the presence of love? Where's the presence of wholeness? Where's the presence of peace? And I thought, am I willing to let go of the pain long enough to allow for something different to be part of this experience for me so that I could fall asleep? And I gave permission for the fact that I had a mind that was like challenging everything. It was like, yeah, sure, right. This is pain, this is body, this is physical, this is real. And now you're playing off in this illusion, come on. And then there's a part of me that said, that's all right. Have at it, little mind. Do what you need to do. I love and respect what it is of the gifts that you bring. And there's another piece and a part of me that's much more expansive. So I'm going to create space for that. And I did. And just in that moment, as I was opening up to that, the next thing I knew, I was asleep and I woke up several hours later. And I thought, I don't have really an answer on that one, but it felt really good to be able to fall asleep through the pain and know that even there too, if I'm willing to open to it, I could see and experience the presence of God, the presence of the One as my very life. And so I hope that you'll have fun on your discovery of the wonders of who you are, of your magnificence, of your life, the journey you've walked, because nobody's walked your journey. And what it is because of that, you get to bring to all of us. So I thank you for walking with me, the person sitting next to you, that we all get to co-create a life that gets to celebrate something more wonderful than we may even at this point be aware of. And so that's it. That's it for today. And so I know that in the presence of where we are in this moment is the presence of love, is the presence of God the one, the source. And although it is that which is so vast as to be completely incomprehensible to the human mind, it is so intimate as to be our very breath. There's a reason we are unique, and I celebrate the beauty of that uniqueness, honoring and celebrating the life of the one that is unfolding intentionally, living and being and breathing intentionally as each of us. And knowing that it is good, I simply let it be good and say, and so it is. Thank you.
Oh, I am so grateful. Thank you so much, Rebecca. That was really inspiring, so real, so from your heart, and such a lot of wisdom, lots of things for us to think about. Remember, I think the most important for me was the self-love part, that we need to learn to love ourselves so that we can be present to love others. Thank you. That was a beautiful, beautiful message. I'm also filled with gratitude for all the gifts and tithes and offerings that are flowing to our church every week. That's what keeps us going financially. You know, we depend on your gifts and tithes and offerings. We don't receive any money from anywhere else. You know, there aren't any bundles of cash coming from anyplace else. So we thank you so much for keeping us in your prayers and in your gifts. So I know you may not have your gift or tithe with you right now to hold in your hand, but this is what we do during our in-person services, is we actually hold that in our hand and we bless it with a particular blessing that we use each week. So let me say that first. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I invite you to hold in your hands the energy of that gift that you are sharing with us, and to say this offering blessing with me. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And we are so grateful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing these gifts, and know that they are making an impact in the world, not just here in this church, but all the way around the world, just as your love does. Thank you.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 I'm so grateful.
Again, we say thank you. Thank you so much for these tithes and offerings. Thank you for the energy that you share with us, the energy that lifts us up, the energy that intermingles with the energy of all the other people who are here to honor our divinity, to honor our relationship with all that is. And we say thank you. Well, we have some announcements. We have some, as we call them, transformational opportunities. And I've kind of broken them into two things. One is ways to get together live and in person, right here on the grounds of the church. And the first one I mentioned already, which is to come out on a Sunday morning, gather behind the church. That's where they are this morning, in the shade of the trees. And I saw that they had put tablecloths on the picnic tables. They have a speaker so they can hear the service. They're sitting in their lawn chairs in the shade and just enjoying being together. And I imagine they'll hang out for quite a while and maybe even have a little picnic. So you can do that too, any Sunday, 11 a.m. Saturday, the 19th of June, will be cleanup day at Unity of Dayton. So that's another opportunity to get together with your friends. And you might want to bring maybe some gloves. You might want to bring some food, some beverage, your lawn chair again. And there are a lot of things to do. This is a huge, huge campus. It's about 8 acres. So you can imagine that there's a lot of upkeep. And inside the church, where there's been virtually no cleaning for over a year because we were closed, and we decided to release the maintenance worker. So there's a lot of cleaning to do. I think the focus is going to be on the 19th. It's going to be on pulling weeds and cleaning the chairs. But there are other things that can be done as well. So if you feel like spending a few hours with your friends and putting in a little sacred service and having some fun, join us. That's June 19th. That's a Saturday, and that's from 10 until 2. They're going to have cleaning supplies here, but if you have gardening tools or anything like that, that you'd like to bring to help out, that'd be great. So it says, come when you can, leave when you must. Another opportunity for gathering will be our evening labyrinth walk. We're going to have that on Wednesday, June 30th at 7 p.m. That's being presented by the prayer team, and the labyrinth's creator, our own Di DeLong, will be leading this particular experience. She has some music that she feels will enhance the experience, so we'll have that. And this is all based on an ancient spiritual practice. And it is just a wonderful way to enter into meditation. So come and join us as we walk the path together towards stilling our busy minds and opening our wise and loving hearts. And again, bring your lawn chair, bring some beverage, and plan to stick around for a while afterwards. Then the other thing that we are offering here until we reopen are Zoom classes. We call them classes. They're gatherings, Zoom gatherings. So we have some ongoing ones. We have the women's group is doing a New Earth. That is on Wednesdays from 10 until 12 with Victoria Heron. And then on the first and third Wednesday evenings from 7 till 9, we have Exploring Ascension Energies, and that's with Dan Studebaker. So for either one of those, if you have not yet attended and would like to receive an invitation, please email unity@unityofdayton.org. I'm offering a new study group, which will be on occasional Fridays. That means just hit and miss every now and again. The first meeting for that will be June 25th, the second meeting July 9th, just to give you an idea. And that's going to be kind of a loose conversation about spiritual practices. What's been working for you? What's come up for you? What would you like to share? What's heavy on your heart? Whatever you bring. And the piece that's going to hold us together is the text that I'm recommending, which is The Endless Practice, Becoming Who You Were Meant to Be. And that's by Mark Nepo. And the idea is just to read a few pages because it's really fabulous, inspirational, poetic, deep stuff. And he offers some suggestions on reflection, on journaling, on talking with another about how this has impacted you. So it's just a beautiful way to kind of kick off some conversation. So those will be, again, on Fridays from 1 until 2:30, starting June 25th, and only occasionally on Fridays. So if you're interested in joining that, my email is revsue, REVSUE, @unityofdayton.org. That is also the email address you can use if you have prayer requests. As I said when I opened this morning, prayer is just an integral part of our life here at Unity, and we would honor the opportunity to hold you in prayer. So if you'd like to send to that address, again, revsue@unityofdayton.org, the names of people that, or you can send circumstances, but really we would prefer names without too much information, because God knows what's happening. And we are lifting up those individuals who are perhaps moving through some kind of a struggle, some kind of a challenge, or share with us your celebrations. It doesn't have to be challenges. We'd love to hear that. Our prayer team will hold those names in prayer for 30 days, and then we send the names on to Silent Unity, and they continue to pray with each of those individuals for another 30 days. So if you have someone that you would like to just totally enfold in prayer, let us know. We'll be happy to take that on. That would just be our joy. So I'm looking to see what else. I think I've done all the things I'm supposed to do. I'm not really used to doing this part of the service. So I do want to thank you all for joining us today, and know that we'll be here again next week with a different speaker. I believe it's Reverend Pat Venema next week from North Carolina. And she was a classmate of mine, and I think you'll very much enjoy her. She'll give you some things to think about, and some inspiring words. So let's join now in our prayer for protection that we always say at the close of our services. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. We certainly hope that you have a blessed week. Look forward to seeing you next week. And remember, you are the light of the world.
You are the light of the world. You are the light of the world. You are the light of the world. You are the light. So let your light so shine. So let your light so shine. So let your light so shine. Let your light shine. You are the light of the world. You are the light of the world. You are the light of the world. You are the light.